Hi everyone, and welcome to our next talk today, Funding Opportunities in Europe, with David Sevane.
Hi, hello everyone. I don't know if I should click on recording or are you taking care of that?
Don't worry, everything is being taken care of.
Okay, thank you. Well, welcome everyone. This is a presentation about finding opportunities to grow your business, namely for startups and SMEs. But as I will show you here in this presentation today, you can see that there are further funding opportunities not only for SMEs and startups. This is our main expertise that we have at FundingBox. Prior to that, let me introduce myself. I'm David Sevane, I'm program manager at FundingBox. I'm currently coordinating 6 European projects. Most of them are distributing funds from the European Commission under the Cascade funding scheme that I will try to explain you later on. Most of the projects are related to the next generation internet initiative, and the technologies around there, I think that they have a very much relation to the issues that you are dealing with today in the conference. And others are more related to industry 4.0, advanced manufacturing, and so on. And these are the main areas that we are covering today, indeed. This is the agenda for today. I will explain you a bit about what we do at FundingBox, our mission and purpose, the funding opportunities that we have currently, where we have short-term deadlines and others that are coming in the midterm. And finally, we will have like 5-10 minutes for a Q&A. So first of all, our mission and purpose, we are a leading distributor of public and private funds for startups and SMEs for Europe's deep tech ecosystem. As you can see in the slide, we are seeing ourselves like a Gandalf, that is guiding Frodo in his quest for a ring. And a ring for us is like the growth that all startups and SMEs are looking for. And this is why we are seeing ourselves as growth catalysts. We are European growth catalysts. We are based in 4 countries, in Spain, Poland, Denmark, and the Czech Republic, but we are covering EU-wide funding opportunities. We are providing access to public and private funding opportunities, knowledge, and connections. We are experts on funding, and we are experts also in community building and building communities around all these tech areas where we are distributing funding. Mainly, we are champion entrepreneurs to provide their future thanks to the connections, thanks to the funding opportunities, and thanks to the community opportunities that we are providing across all these projects. This is just a sort of a proof of work. These are reference from right now, this month of July. We're experts on open call management, on community building, and also we provide acceleration services through the projects that we are running. Some of them as a coordinator, most of them we are partners. And here you are some of the figures that we are running right now. We have being able to attract over 320 million euros of public funds, and the grants that we distribute through what is named financial support to third parties, FSTP or Cascade funds, that we'll explain you right now, sums up to 119 million euros. We are currently running 45 projects, 9 of them as coordinator, and we have already been able to run 27 full life cycle open calls. Coming to the community building and growth hacking strategies, on what we are also experts, we are at fundingbox.com over 29,000 innovators. These are the people and the users that we have been able to attract through our main value proposition, of course, for startups and SMEs, which is the funding, but they stay for the communities. And the main references are I4MS, Fireware, Impact Connected Car, or DIHnet community. DIH means Digital Innovation Hubs, which is currently a very trending initiative from the European Commission that is willing to allow advanced manufacturing, digitalization of traditional SMEs in Europe. And what does cascade funding mean? This is a new mechanism from some years ago from the European Commission that aims at distributing grants, providing millions of euros of bulk funding to platforms and accelerators, which are the meaning of EU projects. So they are EU projects that are running through platforms and accelerators, which in turn distribute smaller tickets of funding to those scale-ups aligned with European Commission's innovation strategy. These type of projects can be pilots, experiments, or accelerators. This is a categorization that currently we have done internally at FundingBox to make maybe more understandable the concept of cascade funding and all these projects. This is basically how it works. So the European Commission is giving funding to projects where there are several partners. Within those partners is where FundingBox plays a role to distribute the funds through open calls, or running communities, or providing acceleration services. And a big part of that fund, of that EU-funded project, is aimed at to be distributed among third parties that are mainly SMEs and startups. So we are in charge of running the process for the open call, disseminating the open call, selecting the beneficiaries, and then we provide acceleration services together with our partners. So this is basically how it works graphically. And here you are an overview of the main funding opportunities that we are giving through FundingBox. They are classified around several tech areas. Here we are opportunities for circular economy, artificial intelligence, education, the next generation internet, robotics, energy, construction, digital innovation hubs, manufacturing, and startups acceleration. As I will try to explain later across different slides, when I will show each single funding opportunity, here there are several casuistics, let's say. Most of them are cascade funds from the European Commission provided under a lump sum scheme. But in some cases, we are not providing funding, but we are providing networking opportunities or access to facilities from the partners. And in other cases, we are not only giving public or EU funding. Some of these programs are run by private partners that we have. So the funding is not public, but private. So now I will go on to a deeper detail across our funding opportunities. Here you are an overview of the forthcoming opportunities from right now, this month of August, that is starting tomorrow, till January 2021. And here you can see an overview of when the next open calls will be launched or will be closed. I will not go into detail on this slide. You will have for sure the presentation available after the webinar, but I think this can give you an overview of the forthcoming short-term funding opportunities that we are providing. And now I will go for each one of these opportunities just to show you an overview of what are they about. For example, on the Next Generation Internet Initiative, we are involved in a SIB lab, which aims at stimulating the uptake of self-sovereign identity solutions. We have a continuous open call running right now, the infrastructure-oriented open call that is targeting 20 technical enhancements and extensions of the self-sovereign identity framework that is under development by our technical partners. We are here, the funding is up to 155,000 euros. And the next cutoff date or deadline is on the 4th of January 2021. Something that I didn't explain before is about the funding. The range of funding is established by the European Commission, but this might be different from one project to another. In this particular case, we have 155k euros, but the range is between 50,000 till 200,000 euros as an average. Here we have different examples because this depends on which are the limits established by the European Commission in a concrete topic, or without the limits established by the concrete project that we are talking about. Another opportunity, this is on education area, impact EdTech. They are basically looking for EdTech solutions, mainly run by SMEs and startups. And here you can see another different funding. Funding here is up to 110k euros, equity free, as in all the cases that I will explain here in the presentation. All these are equity free funding opportunities. So we are not asking the companies to co-fund. They are normally lump sums, as I said before, and always equity-free funding opportunities. And the next deadline in this case is on the 3rd September this year. Some opportunities around Industry 4.0 or advanced manufacturing. Here we have 3 examples. The first one is Smart for All, where we are running the first open call for knowledge transfer experiments or for focused technology tech transfer experiments. When we are talking about experiments, these are normally consortia. So we are not asking SMEs or startups apply alone, as it can be the case, for example, of the previous opportunities that I was showing you before, but here we're asking for consortia. For the case of Smart for All, the deadline is by mid and end September this year. Another one is DIH Square. This is an open call not for SMEs, neither startups directly, but for digital innovation hubs related to a specific topic, as it is robotics in agile production. The funding is very low here in this case. It's up to 10k euros, and the next deadline is 31st August. Another one, another call related to Industry 4.0 is BOWI, which is calling SMEs and microcaps to access innovative digital technologies to digitize their traditional manufacturing processes, and the funding is up to 60k euros, and the deadline is by mid-September this year. Another area that we are covering at FundingBox is AI. We are in the main network on AI at the European level. It's named AI for EU. And in this particular case, we are launching an open call for challenges to ask SMEs, microcaps, startups, corporates, RTOs, or even the partners involved in AI for EU project, which are the main challenges that they have to implement AI solutions. And then we launch an open call for solutions, namely addressed to, or mainly addressed to SMEs and startups. But here, as I said before, we have another example, a particular case where we are not providing funding. What we are providing is a support program for beneficiaries that are able to access to facilities provided by AI partners in this particular project. The next open call will start in October 2020, and in this particular case, we are following a common trend that many open calls are doing, because we launch a specific COVID-19 call for solutions around AI. This is happening in some projects, and this is one of the cases where we are doing this. Next one is about circular economy, and here we are the coordinators of C-Voucher. C-Voucher is supporting SMEs in their transition from linear value chains towards circular models, from the cradle to waste typical or traditional model to the cradle to cradle model, which is what circular economy means. And currently we are in running the second open call for adopters, where 24 SMEs will be selected to adopt circular economy solutions that could have been supported already by C-Voucher, or they can come externally from outside the C-Voucher project. And here in this particular case, the funding is up to 15,000 euros to allow SMEs to adopt these circularity solutions. This is another particular example on the specific sector of the construction. And this is not EU, neither public funding. This is private funding that is provided under an agreement that FundingBox has with Realdania, one of the main corps in the construction sector in Denmark, one of the countries where we are based. And here we are running an open call to get access to connections with the Danish construction industry, and also providing funding of up to 100K. And this open call will start by the beginning of September this year. Let's say general call for startups, because it's covering a lot of areas, in this case related to smart cities, AI, AR, IoT, solutions in several sectors where we are partnering with corporates. And here we are talking about, again, public funding, but this is not EU funding. This is a collaboration agreement between our Polish branch, FundingBox accelerator, and the Polish regional government. There, this is public funding again, but this is not EU public funding. Here again, we are providing funding of up to 45,000 euros, and then the selected startups will enter into a 6 months typical, let's say, acceleration program, where they will be able to cooperate with large industry leading companies around the sectors that you can see there in the slide. And for this particular call, the next open call will start by mid-August this year. Another example, which is not that much particularly interesting for SMEs or startups, this is a call for digital innovation hubs under the DIHNet project that will launch a call in the DIHNet EU community. Here, the purpose is to identify digital innovation hubs that will be able to access to networking opportunities or specific guidance and follow-up on topics treated within this particular project. And here, the deadline will be by the 1st September this year. And finally, another particular opportunity on the robotics sector, and this is again not an EU neither public funding opportunity, but a private funding opportunity. This is a program, or let's say an initiative, that is where FundingBox is partnering with Automatica, one of the main events in Europe related to advanced manufacturing and robotics. And here we are hosting the startup arena Automatica, where we are willing to attract startups to participate in the event, and they will not receive direct funding, but they will receive access to pitch in front of investors, special price packages, one-to-one meetings with makers, investors, mid exposure, and other service opportunities. And the deadline to apply is 30th September 2020. And this is all from my side about all the funding opportunities that we are providing. Here in the last slide, you can see my contact details, mainly the space one-to-one meetings tool, where you can find me and ask me questions. Even you can call me directly through that link, fundingbox.com @davidfbox. If you have any questions right now, I will be glad to try to solve all of them. I can see a question in the chat. It's asking about a lot of the projects in the data ecosystem do not necessarily conform to the typical norm of the startups that was created and popularized during the past 10 years. What kind of work are you doing, or do you know of where these types of projects can accept funding without needing to incorporate as open collective help? Yes, well, most of these opportunities that I was showing in this presentation are focused on the startups and SMEs, but this is not the regular rule, let's say. Many times, yes, SMEs are prioritized, but for example, for the particular case of next generation internet, you do not need to incorporate a company. There are widely open funding opportunities where even individuals are eligible in some particular cases. This is, for example, the case of next generation internet and also other funding opportunities. I'm mentioning next generation internet because it's the one that is more close to me because I'm currently coordinating projects around that initiative. Are there any opportunities for non-EU corporations to interact with these funding opportunities? Yes, indeed. Something that I didn't mention before is that usually the eligible countries to apply to these funding opportunities are EU-based companies or entities, but many times we can incorporate what are named Horizon 2020 associated countries. So they are also non-EU countries. And in other cases, there are particular opportunities, for example, for EU-US collaboration agreements, or that open the floor for deliverability of what are named third-party countries participating in Horizon 2020, but you should check each particular open calling project to know which are eligible countries. Cabal might apply to NDI grants. Yes, you can apply. Would setting up a corp in UK works as EU country, or is that a no-go due to Brexit? Typical question. Currently, we are under what is named the transition period during the Brexit agreement between the EU and UK. So basically, this means that if you are based in the UK and if you apply to any of these funding opportunities within this year, during this transition period till the end of 2020, you are still eligible. You are not a new country, but you are still eligible. What happens after 2020, we still do not know. We still do not have very clear rules from the European Commission, but the main idea that the European Commission is having is to still incorporate the UK as an associated country to Horizon 2020. There is not agreement yet, but this is the idea that is around keeping still the UK eligible under Horizon 2020. As an applicant, nothing changed, so you can still apply. The only difference is that part of that funding will come from the European Commission and another part will come from the UK government. But let's see what happens after 2020. Would EFTA qualify? Usually, yes, some of the countries within the EFTA are part of the Horizon 2020 list of associated countries. Cannot see more questions in the chat. But someone is writing. Yeah, indeed, we have a reply from Santiago. For calls that are under the Horizon 2020 program, the rules are usually that Horizon 2020 list of associated countries. Yes. That is quite easy to find it. Here you are, in fact, the list. I'm sharing it in the chat. And you can see that UK appears as other country right now because it's a particular situation. As I said before, we are currently under the transition period where you are still eligible to apply and get funds till the end of this year.
Okay, for the people on YouTube, we don't have a way to show the link on the chat, but you can find it by searching for Horizon 2020 list of associated countries, and the URL is ec.europa.eu/research/Horizon 2020. And if there are no more questions, then we can wrap this up here. I'll give a couple more minutes to see if there's anyone waiting to say anything else.